Hey guys, I'm just gonna 9:33, 11:11. How about that? Talk about the numbers. Well, what I want to talk about actually is Mount Meru. See, there's a summit going on this weekend. Uh, Guys are really excited about going to Mount Meru. They got this plan to follow the evidence and head off to the frozen, impassable, apparent center north, where there is a black rock magnetic, if you believe that, stone rock mountain. No one's ever seen it. Oh, there's a book about it. So for a few years now, I've been trying to get some of the noisy boys in the flat earth community to pay attention to what I have to say, but they don't seem to. So I'm going to take you on my own Mount Meru weekender. It's not going to cost you anything, but I'd appreciate it if you have the courage to share this, because if you really care about truth, then you should want people to consider all the possible options. So you can go to Mount Meru if you want to, in some frozen place, or in Tanzania. So there is only one Mount Meru on Earth. It's right here under your nose, but no one in the flat Earth community wants to really look at this. I raised this with the community years ago, and nope, no one seems to care. Now, what's interesting about this Mount Meru is that, one, it's almost directly on the equator in the middle. Two, it's called Meru. Three, there are a tribal people known as the Meru people who have an ancient story that, well, the Bible boys will tell you that they took the Bible story down into Africa, but these guys would say that their story has been taken out of Africa. There's an interesting, I mean, the way that this looks is almost clitoral, don't you think? And I'm not trying to be crass, but it is pretty striking in that way, you know. This is a stratovolcano, what they call in Tanzania. It's dormant, and it's located 70 kilometers west of Mount Kilimanjaro. So let's just zoom out here so we can see Kilimanjaro. The Meru people, yeah, they're ancient people. They have, a phenomenal ancient story. You know, you can go and research this yourself. In here somewhere. I mean, it is years ago, so I'm doing this on the fly quickly, because I remembered that today is the day they start this phenomenal adventure of going to Mount Meru in the frozen, misdirected North Center, when I would suggest, as humbly as I can, that actually the center is the middle, is the equator, equatorus. It's the point at which north and south toroidal nodes meet. And there you find, well, Mount Meru with Meru people. And of course, our mainstream science does, offer that, we came out of Africa. I mean, obviously, I don't believe the black becomes white, or, African people can eventually become white people, as they call them, by simply going to Europe where the sun doesn't shine. So here we go, Mount Kilimanjaro. And Mount Kilimanjaro, if you don't already know, is the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. So set aside Everest, because Everest is inside of a nest of very high land. This is the tallest freestanding mountain on Earth. And another little tidbit I remember from that is that the tallest peak on Kilimanjaro is called Uhuru, which will sound very familiar to anyone who lives in Oz, because Uluru is the name of their red rock. And it's like, okay, so how did these ancient rocks get the same name, pretty much? It kind of means the same thing. As I say, it's been years since I really looked at this. Uh, I think the content of that all went away with my old channel. Not that I could really get people to pay attention to this. I've got to stop sounding so grumpy about it. I have just stopped smoking, so perhaps I'm entitled to a little bit of Santos Bonacci like anger. Let me just show you something else that's interesting. So aside from me suggesting that, well, there's Lake Victoria, which I think might be the biggest lake. I don't know if it competes with the Great Lakes, but there's things here that you could, you know, remember the sort of the story that people love about, uh, you know, about Mount Meru is that there is four inrushing seas and all this sort of thing. Well, I think, you know, if we accept that there have been deluges and mud floods, etc., then some of that evidence would be lost. Some of that specificity that we're offered from the mainstream uh, conspiracy community is possibly lost there. So I want to just point out something else now that I mention Santos Bonacci. I haven't watched his stuff for a while, but I was drawn to look at his recent explosive, wow, very strong emotion that he is obviously carrying from childhood. So, but you know, the Santos thing is interesting because his partner uh, um, in the Syncretism Society, his name escapes me right now, but what I what I what I discovered is that he has they are, I mean, you know, obviously Santos was telling us all to go to Mexico and that was the place to be, and now he's not so sure. And where his partner in crime, is it Daniel or some Daniel? He's gone to Zanzibar. Okay. Now, back in 2018, I wondered whether this is Kilimanjaro. And we talk about these mountains possibly being trees. And so if this tree fell, I looked at this much more closely in my video a few years ago, but if this fell, then this is the trunk of the tree. You know, it's about 150 kilometers. Again, I'm just doing this on the fly. I don't remember all the numbers. It's been a long time. But Zanzibar is actually possibly the top or near the top of the tree. I plotted of course I looked at some of these mountains and it's like, oh, they could be elements of a tree. So I wondered if Santos and his crew haven't actually stumbled on this truth that I've been suggesting for a while, and that is that if you want to truly find the center of the earth, you got to come here to Kilimanjaro, to Arusha, which is where Mount Meru is. So that's Mount Meru, that's Kilimanjaro, and this I believe to be the bulk of the tree falling into the sea. Obviously, sea levels may not have been what they are now. But yeah, I'm offering that to you because I just think that we need to have a point of like challenging these guys that are creating this Mount Meru summit and so on. They're very much all singing in the same little hymn sheet from the same hymn sheet, and they're not being challenged to go, no, hold on a minute. You guys are trying to direct everybody through to take a mission that is nigh on impossible when the truth might be right under our noses, right in the center of our known earth, and far more accessible than we could possibly have imagined. Prince, what's his name, William, engaged his wife. They got engaged here. You know, so it's obviously a special place. We know that the powers that be have really damaged this. We just down here, is the Great Rift Valley. And you have what is believed to be the most diverse, most incredible flora, fauna, and so it suggests that this could have been the richest place, and from a natural point of view, and if you think about it, if you were wanting to go to the disco and be in the center stage, you would stand underneath directly underneath the biggest light on the stage, or in the disco, and in this case that would be right on the equator. So there you go. That's just a quickie. I'll try and keep it short like that. I would offer this as a challenge to those guys, because I think who are doing the Mount Meru summit, because I think that just like I try to challenge Jaron and Bob on the 8 inches per mile hoax, 8 inches per mile squared is a lie. I'm not saying that they're propagating lies on purpose, just like we all used to believe we live on a globe. I think that they believe that 8 inches per mile squared, a form of relativity, is legit. Same as Santos believes that starving yourself by eating only the fruit that's fallen from the tree is good for your health. I mean, the guy looks so unhealthy, and yet he continues to push people. It did get a little bit annoying when I heard him say, "Oh, I'm healthy. I've had one headache in my life. In the 5, 6, 7 years I've been following or started, listening to what has Santos had to say, I've always seen him as being frail." And he's just 5 years older than me, looks 15, maybe older, more years older than me. So I do not take health advice and diet advice from someone who looks like, he's in really poor condition. I did some digging yesterday, so I moved some dirt, a few tons maybe. Yeah, I'm a little bit unfit, it's fair to say. But I tell you what, if Santos came and joined me for that, the man would have been carking by 5 minutes. He does not have good physical, and that's, I'm not trying to be unkind, but I'm just a little bit at that point where I'm saying people are following these prophets and adhering to what they say, and no more ejaculation, and no more this, and no more that, and all this sort of stuff. So no, 8 inches per mile squared is a lie. It's bullshit. There's no ball that has flat spots on it like I used to claim with the 8 inches squared. And yeah, I think that misdirection after misdirection, guys that are really smart, and they get ahead and read all the books, just like Santos has done, and those boys over at the Globebusters, doesn't mean they're right. We've been given many books in our story that have been intentionally written as misinformation, and sometimes just written as misinformation by those who genuinely believe the story of the pyramids or the story of evolution, as I did. So there you have it. Mount Meru is here. Let's have a little look again there. Going a little bit closer. Mount Meru Forest Reserve. And there she is. Mount Meru. Don't waste your time buying all of that snow gear. You're going to be lost in the tundra, my friends. Join me. We're going to do an overland trip. And we can go and visit Mount Meru and check out this black volcanic rock without too much ado. But I guess that's what I was thinking. I wondered if Santos and his boys had gotten wind of this finally, and they were trying to steal the march and go, okay, well, we'll get out there, set something up. Because, yeah, that's where his Daniel, that's his name, is at the moment, and has been for much of the last 6 or 7 months since the Syncretism Society started generating money. So there you have it. Mount Meru. And that, my friends, is undeniable. Undeniable. Do not let cognitive dissonance stop you from thinking for yourself. Trinity 4 out.